Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead, keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I am running a promotion for the month of May. So have a look at the description box below and you can see those details. All right, my friends, let's get started for Sagittarius. What is the current energy around Sagittarius for the week ahead? Okay, seeing the Page of Swords coming out for you, Sagittarius. So there might be a new idea percolating in your mind where you're sort of thinking about something, and it may be that you're receiving some kind of message. It could be like a message from someone, or it could just be a message that you're receiving internally. That's sort of bringing about a new idea for you, or sort of like a realization. Sometimes I see those pages, especially the Page of Swords. I mean, all the pages are messengers, but the Page of Swords to me is sort of this idea that, you know, carries this energy of a new path that opens up through an idea, through something that feels inspiring. Something here where you may need to become a student again. You may need to be learning something new, Sagittarius, or you may be about to learn something new. Let's see what the obstacle is here for Sagittarius. What's the obstacle on this Page of Swords? What's creating the challenge? Okay, interesting. So there may be a belief that you're holding about setbacks and losses, or something not working out. And, you know, seeing that with the King of Swords tells me that it is sort of a belief that you're holding that you may need to be flexible on, because right now it's creating an obstacle for you to take action maybe on this new idea, you know, to really act on it. That's the interesting thing, right? Like when we get inspirational ideas, or when we get an idea or a thought crosses our mind, it's up to us what we want to do about it. And so seeing this as the challenge makes me think that you might have received this new idea, or this inspiration for something new to explore or study, and you're immediately saying to yourself, well, I don't have the money for that, or that won't lead to any future sort of increase in finances for me, or I won't be able to do it, or they won't accept me into the program. It's like you're sort of immediately thinking of how it won't work out, or why you shouldn't even bother pursuing it. And it's interesting because seeing that with the King of Swords makes me think that you could be flexible around this. You could shift your perspective around those sort of beliefs that say, oh, it won't work out, or I don't have enough to do it, or it won't help me out in my current situation. It's interesting seeing on the bottom of the deck the Ace of Cups, which again sort of brings up this idea of a new beginning, something starting fresh, something just starting out, like it's just a potential at this point. And it almost feels like in order to realize the potential that the Page of Swords is showing us, and that even this Ace of Cups reveals, is action. Like we have to reach out and participate in the process, or express how we feel about this, you know, and it kind of just feels like you may be squishing it before it even has a chance to become more than just an idea. Very interesting. Kind of feels like there's something academic about this, or intellectual about this, like that you have to study something. Let's see what's top of mind for Sagittarius right now. Okay, so top of mind for you right now seems to be revolving around endings and sort of this unknown direction for a new beginning. And you know what? That might be the new beginning. That Page of Swords idea that thirst for something new might be there because right now you're focused on endings. You're thinking about things coming into a conclusion that may have been unexpected. So Sagittarius, you may be unexpectedly ending one thing and surprising yourself that you're going to start something new that may involve the need for study. And it also feels like seeing this Death card in reverse makes me kind of feel like you're not necessarily on board right now with making big changes, even though you're focused on an ending being sort of unexpected, like just sort of showing up, or it might have caught you by surprise that something ended, and the way it ended may have caught you by surprise. You may have even felt like this was something that you never would have seen coming, this ending. You know what I mean? And you almost have to accept that ending, I think, first, which is why we're seeing the Death card in reverse. Perhaps that's the issue, is that you're not wanting to compound the sense of loss at this point. So when this new idea comes up, you're thinking to yourself, oh gosh, I still have to deal with all of this. So I think I'll deal with this before I start something new. And it's interesting. It almost feels like it's all happening simultaneously. There's another page here, Page of Cups, coming through in the reverse on the bottom of the deck, almost as a signal to say, don't miss the signs here. Like, pay attention to the things shifting around you, because you're about to have an opportunity to do something brand new. And that really seems to be sort of the theme so far in your reading, is that, there may be some endings that are coming upon you right now unexpectedly that you're sort of needing to get on board with and accept, because it's going to change things dramatically for you. And you may step into a time where you are sort of exploring something new that's really transformative and kind of puts you in a position of learning something new about yourself, or about something that you become very, very skilled at later on. Let's see what's driving this reading. The Knight of Cups in reverse is driving this reading, Sagittarius. So that's an interesting card to see in this position, because especially it being in reverse kind of makes me think that what's driving this, or what's at the root of this, is this overall movement that needs to happen where you're really following your heart. You may be involved in things right now that don't really connect with you emotionally anymore. You may be feeling like it's time to move on something else. Chariot on the bottom of the deck, which sort of makes me think that seeing the Knight of Cups in reverse is encouraging you to really follow your heart here, and to not shut things down, because again, you may be missing certain signs, and you may be trying to protect yourself. You may be sort of getting caught up in some negative emotions that are blocking your ability to progress into something new. And it's interesting, because it feels like it has something to do with an ending that may be unexpected, or feels sort of out of the blue, like you weren't expecting something to shift so suddenly, and it did. And so it's sort of like you've got to get on board with that, but at the same time, there's something new trying to move you in a direction that feels like you could learn something new, or be inspired by a new idea to do something new. And it almost feels like you just have to remain open-minded about this. Open-minded, flexible, not deciding that, oh, it won't work before even getting out the gate. This sort of reminds me a little bit of the reading that I did for Taurus this week. If you have placements in Taurus, you may want to check that out. Let's see what the past influences on this situation are. Past influences, yet another page. We've seen the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, and now here's the Page of Pentacles. It's just the Page of Wands we haven't seen yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up as well. So in the past, it feels like you have sort of had these ideas about doing something new, planting a new seed, doing something that could turn into, you know, a new path for yourself, but you may have delayed it. So you may have this pattern overall where you get ideas and you sit on them, or you overthink them, or you start to make a list as to why it's not possible or why it won't work out, or you focus on the challenges as opposed to the opportunities. So this may be a pattern that is coming up right now in your reading, Sagittarius, because perhaps you need to be brought to attention on this matter, where you may have a pattern that you're maybe unaware of at this time. You haven't realized, oh wow, I do that quite a bit lately. When I get an idea about something, I tend to just focus on how it won't work out and how it'll be a setback if I try it. It's interesting. It feels like there's been some, not following your instincts. When I see that Eight of Wands on the bottom of the deck, it's like you're getting these green lights and you're hesitating or not moving at all. And so I wonder why. It kind of feels like you're not trusting yourself a little bit here, and again, the emotional quality that you're holding right now seems to be focused on why you can't do something, or why you won't be able to do something, or why something won't work or be successful. Let's see what the upcoming energies are. Oh, that fell right out onto the floor. 1 second. We'll get that. Oh, wonderful. Look at that. It's the 10 of I was going to say cups, 10 of Pentacles. So Sagittarius, things might really end up working out for you in a way that will even surprise you in the upcoming energy. When I see that 10 of Pentacles, that makes me think of abundance, prosperity, health, stability, security, legacy, partnerships, family, community, like so many things that we tend to strive for when we're working on something, or we're putting effort into something, so many things that could come out of this little baby bud here, right? This Page of Pentacles is bringing in this seed, and it's like if you actually planted it and gave it some nourishment and focus and attention and consistent concentration, it feels like it could go from the page right to the 10, which is amazing. I mean, it really feels like there's so much potential here. But again, bottom of the deck, we see that 4 of Pentacles, which says to me that you may be focused more on scarcity than abundance. You may be more focused on how something won't work versus how it could work. And it's all about shifting your perception, and seeing the King of Swords as the challenge tells me that you're being challenged to shift your internal beliefs around the possibilities, Sagittarius. Let's see here. How does Sagittarius see themselves right now? How does Sagittarius see themselves? Ace of Wands. Love that. So you're sort of in an energy right now where you see yourself as being able to reach an immense potential. But it's like you have the will and you have the inspiration, but you don't seem to have the faith in it, in your heart or in your mind, that it could work. It's like you realize that there is an opportunity here in this Ace of Wands. You realize that there is a raw potential that you could grab onto and maybe run with, but it just feels like something's holding you back with respect to your beliefs. But there is this sort of connection that you're making with this idea, and it's very inspired. It feels like a spark here when I see that Ace of Wands. but it's up to you to act on it. And look what's on the bottom of the deck is the Eight of Swords, which is sort of this self-imposed restriction where we're overthinking things, and then we get ourselves into a place of a standstill where we're not doing anything. And so it almost feels like your thoughts are getting in your own way here a little bit, Sag. Okay, well, let's see, what is the outward expression of Sagittarius right now? How do other people see you right now, Sagittarius? How do other people see you right now? 2 cards. Oh, 3 cards. So other people see you, interesting. We're seeing the Sun, the Ten of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. So that kind of makes me feel like other people see you as standing up for yourself in a way that feels like it's like a defense mechanism. When I see that with the Ten of Cups, like it almost feels like other people see so much potential in you, but they also see you as really guarding yourself and doing so in a way that almost feels like protecting yourself, like a defense mechanism is in place. When I see this Ten of Cups in reverse with that Seven of Wands, it's like you're defending yourself so that you're not vulnerable to being hurt. That's what it feels like. And then that's coming through as confirmed with this Knight of Cups being the driver of your reading. It's like you're overly protecting yourself from risk or vulnerability, and inadvertently that's actually blocking some movement for you to have some big transition in your life. So isn't that interesting? Everything is so connected that, like, if you've got this really inspired idea, but you're too protective of yourself to take a chance or to be vulnerable to express this new idea, it's like it doesn't go anywhere. But other people see that you have so much potential here in that Star card. It feels like there's some defense mechanisms operating here. And the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords, which makes me think that this could lead to a lot of change if you let it. But you've got to sort of accept these big moves and changes, right? Let's see here. What are the hopes and fears around Sagittarius right now? The Moon, and the Moon in reverse. So that is a whole bunch of fear and a whole bunch of anxiety about something transforming and changing, that you can't see the whole picture yet. You can only see the need for change, but not how it's going to go or what the outcome is going to be. So, seeing the Moon in reverse can be a very uncomfortable feeling. It can be a feeling where we feel something before we see it. And that can lead to a lot of what we're seeing here, where we're using defense mechanisms to try to protect ourselves, or we think that there's some kind of risk in evolving past a point that we are comfortable, or a place evolving in a way that sort of reveals who we really are. And I feel like there's a big hesitation in that for you. It's almost like you're trying to protect yourself. Seeing the Lovers in reverse on the bottom of the deck is saying to me that you're not feeling like you can take authentic choices right now, that there's something blocking your ability to sort of be yourself and go for what resonates with you. It feels like you're defending yourself, like a defense mechanism is in place, and defense mechanisms start operating when we have a perceived threat around us. And I say perceived because it's different for everybody, what that threat may be. And it's perceived threat because it's only meaningful to us. It's only meaningful for the individual experiencing it based on maybe their past experiences or past traumas or past moments where they were impacted by something that now they're very guarded about. So it feels like being vulnerable right now is too risky for you. You feel too risky to be completely vulnerable and to follow your heart towards something that actually could end in a Ten of Pentacles moment, which, it's hard to get better than that. Let's see here. What's the potential outcome for Sagittarius? Ooh. Okay, 3 cards. Look at that. 2 kings and a 3 of wands. So you got the King of Cups, King of Pentacles, and the 3 of wands. That's lovely because that tells me that you're being guided here to be focused, determined, consistent, and emotionally sort of grounded so that you're not feeling like those defense mechanisms are going to get triggered into activation. Seeing the 3 of wands here tells me that you have a lot to look forward to. You have a lot to look forward to. It's just going to require you to call up certain characteristics in your own self here. So not getting involved in sort of drama or feeling like you're getting drained or pulled into a lot of emotional drama. Feeling like you can be around a lot of emotions and stay yourself. So the King of Cups, to me, when I see that, it's sort of like you're not matching energy. You're not dimming your light to fit in, and you're not in a place of ego where you have to show that you're better than. You're just you, and you're surrounded by a bunch of other energies, but you're staying you, and you're holding your cup open in the sense that you're open, you're flexible. You're open to receive, and you're open to express yourself. And seeing that with the King of Pentacles really makes me feel like you're also dedicated, consistent, and you're putting in effort towards something that you want to see create something new in the future. So this reading seems to be guiding you to sort of get out of your own way a little bit here and to trust yourself beyond what you think is possible right now from maybe a very limited perspective that's overly focused on losses and setbacks. And seeing the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck, we saw the King of Swords, here's the Queen of Swords, tells me continue to speak and seek your truth. Both of those things, speak and seek your truth, because the more authentic you're showing up, the more likely you're going to let your defenses down and do whatever feels like this really new beginning in the Ace of Wands. It feels like a really inspired beginning that is coming from a place where, I just realized 1, 2, 3. Oh, we don't have the 10 of Wands, but we have 3 10s here. You're finishing something up, and it's beginning something new. I feel like you're in the midst of a transition. And as I look at the oracle cards, I just parted the deck to shuffle, we see unfinished symphony with never-ending story, which is sort of interesting because it feels like you're bringing closure to something that may involve a high degree of self-criticism, where you have those defense mechanisms operating to try to protect you, but you're being guided to bring that part of you into closure, where you don't need those defense mechanisms anymore. You don't need them. You can be flexible in a new way. A new set of beliefs are coming through here. Ones that feel more authentic and less from a place of wounding. Wow, very interesting. Let's see, what's the highest guidance for Sagittarius right now? Fork in the road. So you've got a decision to make here, my friends. You've got a decision to make, and you've got this indication that you're hesitating. You've got these defense mechanisms operating. You're not fully trusting yourself to guide the next steps in your journey. You're not fully dedicated or committed to a direction yet, because it feels very much like a time where you're sort of you've got to leave some old beliefs, old stories, old narratives in the past. Leave them there and remind yourself that those helped you at a time when you needed them, but that you're not in that time anymore, and you don't need those defense mechanisms to guide you or to protect you, because you're in a new place now. You're in a new timeline. And that's those, defense mechanisms are very smart. They're there to keep us safe from some kind of threat that did appear once in your life. And now you're sort of being guided to focus on that period being over, and accepting that period is over, and allowing yourself to live again honestly. That's what I'm seeing here. And it's a very interesting reading. The bottom of the deck is showing this mending card, which is sort of this message of healing and coming back to yourself. And it's also the last card in this deck, 52. So making a decision to leave these past narratives in the past, and this healing energy that allows you to begin to live again in a new direction, free from feeling like you have to have these walls up to protect yourself. Okay, my friends, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. It's been so wonderful reading for you today. I look forward to reading for you again soon. And I'm sending you so much love, light, and encouragement. Take care.